Hi everyone, my name is Sofyan. So today I will explain the plus, the minus, the divide, the multiply, and the equal. But before I explain those I mentioned, I'm going to talk about God. So knowing God is very important. Knowing God and knowing what He said and doing what He said, He will help you. He will give you a lot of knowledge. He will give you a lot of understanding. And that's what He did with me. So I'm sharing some knowledge and understanding that God gave to me with anybody who's watching this video. So first I'm going to talk about God, what He did to humans. So God gave the Ten Commandments to humans. And the reason why God did that, so when we live during our lifetimes here, we should live according to the Ten Commandments. So Ten Commandments will be the way of our life here on earth. So when we die, we will go to heaven and be forever. So God gave the Ten Commandments. But today I'm just going to use the first commandment to explain the plus, the minus, the divide, the multiply, and the equal. So in the first commandment, God said, do not have other gods, only me. So we should not have other gods. We should only have Him as God. So God is one. There is only one God. So now I'm going to give some information about God. So a lot of people ask this question, they want to know who is God. So the simple answer is God is a spirit. So God, He is a spirit. And God also, He is the creator. So God is the creator of visible and the invisible stuff. Visible stuff, anything you can see with your eyes. Example, humans, trees, oceans, animals, stars, mountains. Anything you can see with your eyes are visible stuff, and who made them? God, who is a spirit. And the invisible stuff that exists, but you cannot see them with your own eyes. Example, demons, devils, angels, spirits. Each one of us has a spirit, but no one can see his own spirit. And who made the invisible stuff? God, who is a spirit. And God also is three in one. What I mean by that? So God, who is a spirit, He made the Holy Spirit for Himself, and He made the male human body for Himself as well. So as you can see here, as I said, one, God is one. So I wrote one here with three different colors. So number one in the numbers symbolizes God. So here I wrote one with three different colors. The blue, the white, and the red. So the white here symbolizes God, who is a spirit. And the blue symbolizes God, symbolizes the Holy Spirit that God made for Himself. And the red symbolizes God's body. Because as I said, God is three in one. He is a spirit, He made the Holy Spirit for Himself, and He made the male human body for Himself as well. So God is three in one. And now I'm going to explain how number one in the numbers symbolizes God. So when you start counting, you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So you start with 1. And God also is the beginning. He's the beginning of life. So God existed first, and everything else existed. And God is one. So number one in the numbers symbolizes God. And I'm going to explain also how the letter A symbolizes God in the alphabet. So when you start the alphabet, you say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, etc. You start with A. And God also is the beginning. He is the start. So the letter A in the alphabet symbolizes God. And here I'm going to explain how the letter A symbolizes God in the alphabet. So here, as you can see, I wrote 1 here. As I said before, 1 symbolizes God in the numbers. And I wrote another 1 here. And by simply extending the edges for 1 with the red, I got a shape of an A. This one is an A, and that one is an A. The difference is that one is in the incline, and that one is straight. So I simply get an A by simply extending the edges for 1. As I said, 1 symbolizes God, so A symbolizes God as well. So 1 plus A in both of them, they symbolize God. So now I explained the first commandment, and they gave some information about God. So now I'm going to proceed with explaining what I said I want to explain. So I'm going to start with plus. So I'm going to start explaining plus. So plus equals 1 in math. In math, plus equals 1. And who is 1? As I said, 1 is God. He is the main one. God is the main one. And each one of us is 1. Everyone is 1. Because I'm 1, you're 1, everybody is 1. But the difference, God is the main one who has the power to create, and He made other ones. So I'm 1, you're 1, and everybody else is 1. So here, the plus, I'm going to explain it first as it symbolizes God. So here, I'm going to explain this plus as it symbolizes God. So you look here, there's the red and the white. So the red here symbolizes spirit, and the white symbolizes the body. And as I said, God, who is the spirit, He made the male human body for Himself, and the Holy Spirit for Himself as well. So this one is the spirit who is God, and this one, this is God's body, and inside God's body, the Holy Spirit that God made for Himself lives in. So now I explain this plus as it symbolizes God. Now I'm going to explain this plus as it symbolizes human. So each human has a spirit and has a body. I have a spirit and a body. Everybody has a spirit and a body. And each human being has an evil spirit. And the evil spirit lives inside your body. So the bottom line, this plus, the red symbolizes the spirit, and the white symbolizes the body, and everybody is different. So a human being, they have evil spirit, so the evil spirit lives inside their body, but God doesn't have evil spirit. So God is 3 in 1. Here's the spirit, this is God's body, and the Holy Spirit lives in. But we humans, we have a spirit and we have a body, and the evil spirit lives inside our body. So this is the explanation of plus. So in general, plus means the spirit and the body. Now I'm going to do minus. So minus here, as I said, that one looks like that one. That one symbolizes the body, and that one symbolizes the body as well. So your body is a minus. Why your body is a minus? Because everything that's inside your body, you minused it from earth. So like your body's composition, example, is made out of water, protein, minerals, and fat. So your body has water, but the water existed before you exist. You just have a small amount of the water that existed. So you minus little water from the water that existed before you exist. And your body also has protein. And the protein existed before you exist. So you just after you exist, you minus a small amount of protein that exists before you exist. And your body has minerals, but minerals existed before you exist. And you just minus a small amount of the minerals that exist before you exist. And your body also has fat. The fat existed before you exist. You just minus a little fat, small amount of fat, that you have in your body. So you minus it from the fat that exists before you exist. So your whole body is a minus. The composition of your body existed before you exist. But after you exist, you minus the small amount of the components you have in your body. So your body is a minus. Next one, divide. So when you heard the word divide, that means there's a division. So division happens when someone dies. So here, the minus here symbolizes the body. And the point here, both of them, they symbolize spirits. So as I said, each one of us has a spirit and an evil spirit and a body. So this is the body of a human being, this is the regular spirit, and this is the evil spirit. So when someone dies, there is a division. So the body stays here on earth and rottens, and the regular spirit goes up to the one who made it, and he will put you in the place you deserve, and the evil spirit stays here on earth. So that's the meaning of divide. Divide, that means when someone dies, there is a division between the spirit and the body. So now I'm going to do, next one, the multiply. So when you heard the word multiply, that means make more. And multiply happens when a man and a woman, they have sex, they make more babies, they multiply. When a woman and a man have sex, they multiply. So here the sign of multiply, one of them is a woman and the other one is a man. So when man and woman, they have sex, they multiply. And when you look at the multiply sign here, when you look at the man and the woman when they are having sex on the bed, they form this shape. So they cross each other when they have sex, and they form this shape. So when you see a woman and a man having sex on a bed, they form this shape. They cross each other. So multiply, one of them is a woman and the other one is a man. Now I'm going to do the last one. The last one, you heard the word equal. So when you heard the word equal, so there is an equation. So here, when you look at equal sign, you see like there is two minuses. One on the top, one on the bottom. And the minus, as I said, symbolize the body. So here there is two bodies. Who are they? So both of them are the bodies of God. So the first one is God's body, the one he made in the beginning when he made humans, when he started making the creation. So God, who is a spirit, he made the human body for himself, as I said. And the first body that God made for himself, I don't know the name. And they put a question mark because it was way back then. So I don't know the name of the first body that God made for himself. But the bottom one is the second body that God made for himself. And who is the second body that God made for himself is Jesus. So Jesus is the second body that God made for himself. So God had a body before, and he made another body for himself. Now God's body is Jesus. So God doesn't have two bodies, he has one body. He had one before, but after he made Jesus, Jesus is the new body of God. And here, I'm going to explain how this symbolizes Jesus' body. How this symbolizes Jesus, and Jesus is God's body. So, as I said before, 1 equals A, and both of them, they symbolize God. And when you start counting, you say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So when you stop at 11, and the numbers, and you start the alphabet, you say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. So K equals 11. Because when you count the numbers until 11, and you count the alphabet until 11, you will find out that 11 equals K. Because 1 equals A. And the word king starts with K. And who is the king? God is the king. There is only one king. But when you say the king, Jesus is inside. So Jesus is the body of God. And as I said, 11 equals K, and the letter K symbolizes the king. So 11 equals 1 plus 10. So 11 also is the king, symbolizes the king. So 11 equals 1 plus 10. Who is 1, as I said? 1 symbolizes God, and 10 symbolizes Jesus. Because when you count until 10, you will find the letter J. You say A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J. So the letter 10 equals J. And the word Jesus starts with J. So Jesus is 10. And the way I'm going to read number 10 here to explain that Jesus is a man. So when you look at number 10, there is a circle and there is 1. And every man has a circle in the back that looks like an S-hole. And every man has a dick in the front that looks like 1. And Jesus is a man. He has an S-hole in the back and he has a dick in the front. And so Jesus is a man. And who is Jesus? As I said, the new God's body. So, and they are equal because both of them are God's body. But this one is the previous God's body, but this one is the new God's body. So now God has only one body, and his body is Jesus. And after here you see it's like a narrow way. So this is a narrow way. And this way is the way to heaven. So the way to heaven is very narrow. Why? Because after God sent Jesus to earth to pay for the guilty people, the way to heaven is very narrow. So if you don't do the 10 Commandments, you're not accepted into heaven. So if you break the 10 Commandments where God said will never forgive you, you will never go to heaven. So the bridge to heaven is very narrow. So that's, I gave some information about the plus, the minus, the divide, and multiply, and equal. So plus, in general, it symbolizes the spirit and the body. The minus symbolizes the body. The divide, this one is the body, and that one is the regular spirit, and the other point is the evil spirit. Multiply, one is a man, the other one is a woman, and equal, there's two minuses here, and the minus symbolizes the body. So that one is the first God's body, and the other one is the second, like God's body he made for himself. And God has only one body, and his body is Jesus. So now I'm done with explaining the plus, the minus, the divide, the multiply, and the equal. And at the end, thank you so much for watching this video, and have a great day, everyone.